It began, as so many catastrophes do, not with a declaration but with a decision made by machine. February 28, 2026. While diplomats still sat across tables in Doha, while proposals were still crossing borders through Pakistani mediators, the bombs were already falling, coordinates locked, trajectories calculated, targets confirmed not by a general in a war room, but by targeting algorithms, satellite AI, systems engineered to compress the gap between decision and destruction to the width of a millisecond. The humans simply pressed send. For decades, military philosophers debated the concept of autonomous warfare, the idea that one day the machines would make the call, pull the trigger, end the life. They thought it was a future problem. They were wrong. Because by the time America and Israel struck Iran in the winter of 2026, the line between human decision and algorithmic execution had already dissolved so quietly, so incrementally, that no one had even noticed it cross. In the 2026 Iran war, every American warship in the Strait of Hormuz carried on-board AI threat response systems capable of identifying, VO classifying, and neutralizing incoming missiles and drones in fractions of a second. When Iran attacked 3 American destroyers transiting the strait, the response was automatic, instantaneous. The threats were destroyed before the human commanders had finished reading the alert. This is the new arithmetic of war. An Iranian ballistic missile travels at Mach 8. Human reaction time is measured in seconds. The machine reacts in microseconds. What this means, what we refuse to fully confront, is that in modern conflict, the human being has become a latency problem, a bottleneck, a liability. And so, slowly, methodically, we have been engineering ourselves out of the loop. Not all the way. Not yet. There is still, in 2026, a hand somewhere in the chain. A thumb hovering over a confirmation. A soul, however brewy, in the equation. But the question the Iran war forces us to ask, the question that will echo through every conflict that follows, is, for how much longer? The Iran conflict demonstrated something we've been watching build for 20 years. The gap between a human commander saying approve and the weapon actually ring, that gap is functionally zero now. Whether you call that autonomous or not is a semantic argument. The outcome is the same. The machine acts, and we rationalize it afterward. 20% of the world's oil passes through this waterway near Iran. And since February 28, 2026, it has been a theater of AI-mediated warfare unlike anything in human history. Iranian drones guided by computer vision. American naval AI systems tracking and classifying every vessel, every wake, every heat signature. Electronic warfare platforms jamming GPS, spoofing radar. Autonomous underwater drones threading silently below the surface. The humans are present, but they are increasingly witnesses. Consider what it means for Iran to have simultaneously closed the strait, targeted the UAE with ballistic missiles, and directed Houthi allies in Yemen to open a second front, while its own command infrastructure had been degraded by weeks of airstrikes. How? Because modern military networks do not require intact command centers. They require algorithms, distributed AI, hardened satellite uplinks, and pre-authorized decision trees. You can kill the generals. You cannot kill the logic. Before the bombs fell on February 28, there were already 30,000 dead in Iran. Not killed by America, not killed by Israel, killed by their own government, using tools of algorithmic control, facial recognition, communication intercepts, predictive policing, to crush the largest civilian uprising Iran had seen since 1979. AI had already entered the war. Against the Iranian people themselves. This is the shadow the AI war debate almost never reaches. We argue about lethal autonomous weapons in the field. About whether a drone has the right to decide. About targeting ethics, proportionality, the laws of armed conflict. And all the while, the more silent application, the AI of domestic control, of surveillance, of mass suppression, has already been deployed. Has already killed. Has already won. The question is not only whether AI will control future wars between nations. The question is whether it is already controlling wars against the people within them. What does the Iran war tell us about the wars to come? It tells us that AI already manages targeting, already manages naval defense, already manages electronic warfare, strategic supply chains, disinformation campaigns. Already decides which tankers pass through which straits, and which do not. The next step, the one that keeps military ethicists awake at 3 in the morning, is not a dramatic leap. It is a small and quiet continuation of what is already happening. Removing the final human confirmation. The last thumb on the last button. America has already burned through its munitions at a rate that will take years to rebuild. The machines fought fast and hard, and they consumed everything. There is a bitter irony here. AI promises faster, more efficient war, but the 2026 Iran conflict has shown us that efficiency in killing does not mean efficiency in winning. It means you can destroy more, faster, and still have no strategic objective. No exit. No peace. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz put it plainly, America appeared to lack a clear exit strategy. Tehran had, in the view of European allies, humiliated Washington at the negotiating table. The machines are very good at destroying things. They are not yet good at knowing why. Will AI control the wars of the future? The honest answer, the only honest answer, is that it already does. Partially, incrementally, with human hands still resting on the controls, but with human judgment increasingly optional. The 2026 Iran-America conflict is not the future. It is the present. And if we do not ask, loudly, urgently, before the next war begins, what role we demand for the human conscience in these systems, then the next war will answer the question for us. Nations will no longer go to war. Algorithms will. And when that happens, when the last human conscience is extracted from the decision to kill, we will not have built a better war. We will have built a perfect one.